Buona Befana. Happy Epiphany. Hello, you divine infinite human beings. You're all that is, ever has been, and ever shall be. Your divine infinite love. Your divine infinite truth. Your divine infinite source. Happy Epiphany. Yes, today is actually my favorite day of the holiday, and it is Epiphany, January 6th, or as we say in Italian, Buona Befana, which is another story. But traditionally it's the day that the three kings found the Christ child and realized he was the Christ. But the true meaning of Epiphany is divinity made manifest. I'll say it again. Divinity made manifest. So, what is your epiphany? An epiphany on the hero's journey is the reward of the hero for having had the courage to embark on their journey, to overcome and surmount obstacles, challenges, endless, ongoing obstacles, and to defeat the dark side within, the shadow self, transmute it. And after that, at the end of this long and wearisome, difficult journey of the hero, you get the reward, which is the epiphany. And what is that epiphany? What is your epiphany? I commend you, starseeds, because this last year has been probably very, very difficult for most everybody on planet Earth in form. It has been very challenging. We've been thrown everything possible at us. Here in Italy, I'm in freedom. But if I go into the down to, over to the old Earth, I can't even get a cappuccino most places. I can't do anything. So, I'm telling you this because the truth is, this is all about you. You have created this for yourself. As a collective, but also as an individual, you have created all the challenges that you are now facing and have faced. It is part of your divine blueprint. It is part of your spiritual journey that we call life. And this spiritual journey has been to lead you to your epiphany. And you have to earn your epiphany. I can't give it to you. I can talk at you. I can share my story. And hopefully in the sharing, it will inspire you, heal you, encourage you, but it's your story. Everyone has their own story, not their story, his story, your story, my story. We are all stories in the mind of God, the divine dreamer. And as you realize that, you begin to, I say in my book, The Infinite Human, which is coming out soon, you begin to transcend the world of illusion, of duality, and identify more, not with so much the characters, the protagonists, the antagonists, but you begin to identify with the, what I call the voice of God, the third person omnificent, which is the divine dreamer inside of you, divine infinite source inside of you. As you do that, you can realize, you can look at this journey and you can say, boy, that was a tough one, but I made it. I'm at the top of the mountain, okay? The top of the mountain. I've reached the apex of the triangle. I've arrived and I'm beyond duality, and I can look down with clarity at at the valley below. See these beautiful mountain spirits here. And I can see how everything I went through, everything I lost, was actually bringing me to my true, real, authentic self, which is your infinite self. You are removing the finite. Or as Michelangelo said, he found the block, which is his David, and he carved away everything that wasn't it. So you are being carved, molded, forged in fire to let go of everything that is no longer you. In theory, that sounds great, but when you have to live it, when you're down in the valley, not on top of the mountain, and you're living it, it may be challenging. Yes, it is challenging. When you find out you can no longer work in your job, you can no longer be with your family members. They don't want to be with you, or there's a schism, and you've been lost old friends and family members, and you find yourself perhaps even alone. You find yourself poor without knowing how you're going to make a living, get that next paycheck in, eat that next meal. You find yourself unable to go into restaurants and cafes, and your whole life is crumbling in front of you. And it is fear invoking at some point if you don't understand, if you don't have the higher perspective of being at top of the mountain, if you are unable to see with your third eye. And when you're going through it, it's tough. I mean, I don't care how evolved you are. If you're driving down a road that, is slipping and sliding over a cliff, there's going to be some moments that will test you to ground yourself inside of divine, infinite source inside of you. And to just surrender yourself, surrender your ego, surrender the way you think things should be, the way you want things to be, the desires you have. I wish I had us. The things you think will make you happy. Have they? Have they ever? They're fleeting. They come and go. And I'm, I say it's time to stop talking the talk and walking the walk. And I have had to walk this walk. I have been there with not knowing where my next meal would come from, not knowing how I would move myself. I've lived in it, I've lived in it. And I'm not saying it's easy, because if it is, you're in denial, you're spiritually bypassing. But you have to go through that dark valley of the shadow, which is your shadow. Because as you move through that, that is ascension. You ascend beyond the root chakra, the lower levels, the person levels, into the higher levels, and begin to smooth sailing, begin to embrace your soul purpose, why you're here, your soul mission. And it's beautiful. But I know it's hard, but you're just going to have to trust the process and let everything that is not of you, of your true authentic self, of your true essence, fall away. And it's falling. In fact, it's like saying, no, you can't come in here. No. Green pass. I can no longer be part of the finite earth. And you know what? I don't even want to be. It was like, wow, thank you. Thank you so much for saying no. Thank you for leaving my life. Thank you for me having to let go of, for me, my film school in Florence, Italy, and move down here, and look what I got. This feels good. It feels so much better, okay? It feels so much better than holding on to a world that no longer wants you. It is becoming increasingly more and more artificial every day, really. Fake. Here, only about 10% of the population is so organic, and we are, you know, having this higher perspective and gaining more and more epiphanies. Whereas, and as we watch, I just talk to people very general, but even people that are not, say, on a spiritual path are noticing that the people who have chosen to do other things with their bodies and their lives in order to hold on to their jobs, in order to ride the transportation, in order to travel, in order to whatever, please their families, in the finite earth are becoming more and more distracted, unaware, mechanized, removed from this energetic, organic energy that we live in, and glued to their technology, which is amazing for me, because as an American living in Sicily, I came here because, you know, there's sheeps that run around all the time. There's goats and cows that, you know, I have to drive around because they're herding down the street. And when I first came here, the kids rode bicycles like they did in the 70s when I grew up, you know, at night. And in just 2 years, 2 short, long years, I have seen them completely change, where everyone is like fixated, glued. I'm using one right now. I guess I'm glued onto it too, but I'll turn it off. And that's dictating their lives, and it's amazing. So we who are organic, who are choosing to manifest our divinity on the new earth, that's a little hint there, are just naturally, we're floating to the top. I say, like oil and water, Christ oil, the anointed ones. We're the anointed ones, and we are dividing. And yes, sometimes it's hard, you know, you have to leave behind things that you've treasured. Oh, you know, it's so special, you know, so, that person is so, but you know what? Something better is waiting for you. You don't want to remain in something that's fake, it's finite, that's artificial, that's no longer resonates with you and no longer wants you. You don't want to go and be somewhere where you're tolerated. You want to go somewhere where you're celebrated. Happy Epiphany to all of you. Christs. Ciao for now.